How to define the right indicator for your program. Concept 3. Data and Indicator Framework. This video was shot during the Interact event, Indicators and Data Collection, in Florence on the 2nd and 3rd of March 2017. There are several factors that influence your choices when you're defining the right indicator for your program. In this video, you will hear more about the Data and Indicator Framework, a framework by which we can capture the data and indicators that allow us to understand what is happening in our programs and projects.
The third one is this notion of the monitoring and evaluation framework, a framework by which we can start to capture the data and the indicators that allow us to understand what our programs and projects are happening. And there's a block here, so-called condition indicators. Where are we starting from? What are the conditions in the context we're seeking to respond to? That's telling us where we start from. Condition indicators will be set out in what document? Operational program, and specifically the baseline is setting out very clearly where are we starting from. Yeah? And that baseline then moving across to the right-hand side begins to say, right, have we got the right strategic objectives for our program? And by understanding how the baseline is moving over time, are we keeping an eye on our strategic objectives going forward? Now, you've all got a baseline. You need, through your monitoring, to continue to keep a track on your condition indicators so you can understand whether your strategic objectives remain current and valid. Keeping baselines refreshed, a bit boring, but not hard, because you know what the indicators are. It's just a process of making sure they're refreshed and up to date. So message number one from Simon, if you're not already looking regularly at refreshing your baseline to see how things are moving, you should be doing so. It doesn't have to be a big exercise, doesn't have to be an expensive exercise, but it will allow you to see how the context within which you are working is shifting, and therefore, top right-hand box, are the strategic objectives that we've coded into our program fair and reasonable? And by then sort of tracking how we're performing on our strategic objectives, we can then begin to understand what we're doing in terms of our strategic inputs and activities to respond to those. And those inputs and activities, they drive across then to give a set of response indicators. Condition indicators at the top that we're trying to address, a set of activities that we're doing through strategic alignment in terms of response indicators that we're delivering. And what we're trying to do here all the time is make sure that these response indicators are as closely aligned to the condition challenges as we can. Because the closer we get the response indicators to meet what the condition indicators are calling for, the greater our program success will be. Now, many of you will be focusing on this bit through your monitoring and evaluation activity. Okay, routine activity, making sure you understand where your programs and projects are going. But you also need to be able to hold that information against how the condition indicators are changing over time. And that syncopation, that bringing together of condition indicators, how are they moving, response indicators through my activities, my outputs, maybe even my results, the extent to which those are aligning with those condition indicators, that's all about giving your program a really good dynamic in real terms. Because the problem you have with the way some of your programs are set up is nice programs, but they very quickly become fossils. They become appropriate at the time they were designed. The world moves on. Strategic objectives are not quite what they should be because we've not been able to update them. So some of the things that Ivanka was saying about thinking about refreshing approaches, thinking about refreshing your indicators, thinking about refreshing your activities to ensure that your interventions remained aligned to the changing conditions, that's a really important concept to work with. And that's why my call to you, Simon says number 2, making sure that your program and project management is active, so your program and projects are constantly hitting the sweet spot of what the need is really important. Don't have fossil programs. Don't have dinosaur programs which are fixed at a moment in time, because what happened to dinosaurs was they got wiped out rather quickly. Yep. Keep them dynamic, keep them fresh, keep them alive.
If you'd like to see more details about the evaluation of Interreg programs and projects, please check out the different models Interact produced. In each of the models, you will find various materials such as videos, guidance papers, Q&A documents, links and other details.